Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome to my channel. I am Jamie Beth. Today we're going to talk about fall palettes. So these are the palettes that I think are going to move perfectly on into the fall season. And I don't think I have mentioned any of these palettes in any other videos yet. So I'm really excited to show you guys some newer palettes that I have. And if I do repeat one or two, I'm so sorry, but I do really like the way these palettes look. I love the color stories of them. I love the formulation. I love how well they blend, and they're just beautiful fallish palettes. So I'm excited to show you guys my little pile of palettes here. The first one I'm going to show you guys is one by Ace Beauté, and it is their Scarlet Dusk palette. And here is what it looks like on the inside. Isn't that beautiful? I just love these colors. Now, what I find interesting about this palette, because I actually have this palette on my eyes today, and this color right here, which is called Crimson, which is normally, I guess, would be a reddish color, but it doesn't look red here. It looks orangey, and when I look at it, it looks orangey, but when I put it on my lower lash line today, it's reddish. So I thought that was interesting. And when I swipe it on my hand, it has kind of a reddish undertone to it. So very cool. I mean, I don't care. I just thought it was a different color than what it's showing up as. It's still gorgeous. I still love it. And these shades on the corners here, this beautiful dark shade right here called Nocturnal, and this shade right here called Sangria, are just absolutely gorgeous. And I love the shimmer shades in this palette too. Let me swatch those. This is a Maui, and then what I have on the upper inner corners of my lid is Aruba. Right there. So that is Aruba, and then the pinkish one is Maui. Just beautiful, beautiful shades. I just really am enjoying this little palette. Moving along, now this is a palette that I know everyone has heard of. It's been out for quite some time, but I just think that moving into the fall season, this would be a great palette to have. This is the Urban Decay Wild West palette. And at first, I wasn't liking the palette, I guess. I did give in, I bought it, and I'm in love with it. I just think this is a perfect palette. You have your more neutral tones, you have this beautiful gold shade, and then you move into a little bit of color right here. This like greenish blue color. Let me swatch that one for you here. That shade right there is so gorgeous, especially if you want a pop of color on the lower lash line. And then you have another, like a darker shade down here at the end. I just love this. I just think this color story is gorgeous. It didn't look as pretty online as it does up in person, but I am really loving my Naked palettes. I think I have all of the colorful Naked palettes. I don't have any of the Naked 1, 2, or 3. I don't have Reloaded, but I do have all of like the more colorful ones. And this is by far my favorite palette. I think this is going to be perfect for that fall weather because you have the neutrals, because you have the toned down shades, you have the darker browns, and then you have that cute little pop of color that you can use to spice up any look that you want. The next palette I'm going to show you is one that I got out of my BoxyCharm box, and I'm in love with this palette. It is by a company called Illamasqua, and here is what it looks like, and it is their Unveiled palette. I just want to show you all of these. So on the top row you have a bunch of like shimmer shades, and then the bottom row are a bunch of like matte shades. So you can, I like these as I'm flipping you off. So these shades down at the bottom, you can create a nice little subtle eye look up top, and then you can do a pop of color or a pop of shimmer on the inner corners, a pop of color on the lower lash line. These are just gorgeous, gorgeous shades, and these blend so well. I'm just in love with this palette. And I'm going to do a couple of these like shimmer shades here. This palette is so buttery. Look how deep and pigmented those are. I love it. These are so beautiful. Let me see, do I have a clean finger here? We'll do one of these matte shades as well. And then there is one of the matte shades. I love it. It's so beautiful. I highly recommend this palette. I think that, again, you have your little neutral shades down at the bottom. You have some shimmer up at top. This palette would be a great fall palette just because you can create a whole bunch of nice, subtle, pretty looks with this. The next palette I'm going to talk about is this one. This is the Violet Voss Pinky Promise. Here is what it looks like on the inside. Now, I know this palette doesn't scream fall vibes, but again, we have some shimmers, we have some dark mattes, and it's just a beautiful color story. I just like the color story on this. I think you can create, again, some nice, subtle fall looks with a hint of sparkle, with a hint of shine, but without looking bright and flashy and summery. I don't know. I love this palette. I love Violet Voss. I have a couple Violet Voss palettes now. I don't know why I haven't tried them out sooner. I don't know, but I have recently tried a couple of them and I'm in love with the formula. I just think this is a very well made palette. And again, I love the color story. Again, you got some shimmers, you got these dark fall colors on the sides and down going along the bottom. I really think you can create some beautiful looks with this. The next palette I'm going to show you is another one that we've all heard of. It is the At Forest Sight, the Raw Christy Beauty and Colourpop Glam. Again, I know this has been out for a long time, but I just recently got it and started playing with it and I'm very excited about it, so I want to show you it. This screams fall. Again, you got a beautiful array of matte shades, deep pigmented matte shades. I'm going to swatch a couple of these for you. I mean, look at those, and those are matte shades. Like, the pigment in these is just fabulous. But I mean, that's what you expect out of Colourpop. I just think Colourpop is such a well-made brand and you're never disappointed. I never have a problem with Colourpop eyeshadows. I'm gonna swatch a couple more. I mean, look at that. That is so stunning. And again, screams fall vibes. I just love this palette. I think you can create a lot of beautiful looks. You can be subtle, you can do pop of color. There's just a lot of options, and that's what I like about these palettes that I'm showing you. There are so many options to create subtle, beautiful fall looks. I'm going to talk about another Colourpop palette, and I know this one, again, is not brand new. You've all heard of it. I just recently got it and I started playing with it and I love it. It's been on my list of palettes to buy for a while now, and it is called the All That. Here is what it looks like. Again, to me, this screams fall vibes. Now this is more of a reddish, like mauve-y undertone to it, so you would want to create like specific looks with it. I mean, these colors are just stunning. Absolutely stunning. We're going to do some swatches. Here are the swatches. Beautiful, pigmented, gorgeous, blendable. Just love it. It's just such a gorgeous palette. You have like the glitter shadow in there that they always seem to like throw into their palettes. I don't normally use those glittery ones, but I do the shimmers. I think this palette would go well with these other palettes if you wanted to like mix and match the colors and to create a certain look. I think it would turn out gorgeous. Next palette I'm going to show you guys is one that I received in a BoxyCharm box. I have never heard of this brand. It is called KAB Cosmetics. But when I opened this palette, I was just like, wow, this, again, right up my alley. These fallish palettes are right up my alley because I do really like the more browns, neutrals, smoky colors. I do like color, but I don't normally wear a lot of bright colors. I do like playing with bright colors. I do like using the brighter color palettes with like Halloween costume looks and stuff like that. When we're talking every day, I go towards these types of palettes. Neutrals, again, nudes, neutrals, smokies. Let's swatch. So we got some like terracotta colors. It looks like some browns, a little bit of purples. We have shimmers, there's mattes. I like that this palette is well balanced between the shimmers and the matte shades. So let's do some swatches. I want to show you guys some of these shimmer colors because they're really pretty. There are the swatches of some of the shimmer shades. And again, pigment, it's beautiful. I picked these palettes because I like the formulation. I like how they blended out. I like the fact that there's a lot of pigment to them, so you don't really have to do much to get the shadows to do what you want. So you're not like sitting there working at it to get it blended out. You pop the color on, you blend a little bit, and it seems to just do exactly what you need it to do. That is what I love about these palettes that I'm showing you. I don't have to spend a whole lot of time getting the looks the way I want them. And I don't know if that makes a whole lot of sense, but I'll tell you, nothing irritates me more is having to spend a lot of time blending out an eyeshadow because I can't get it to work the way I want it to. The only thing about this palette that isn't like the others is it's not as buttery feeling when you are like swatching it and stuff, but it is very pigmented and it's very blendable. And there is no fallout, so I do like that they're not like powdery colors. Actually, none of these palettes I showed you are powdery type of palettes. Last palette that I'm going to show you is this one, and I am so excited that I have this palette. I am not a huge fan of Dominique Cosmetics eyeshadows. I know a lot of people like them. I just they're not bad, but they're not great. I have other palettes that I think work a little bit better, but this one is gold. Everyone in the world should have this palette. It is the Transition palette by Dominique Cosmetics. This is what it looks like. It is just a all matte palette. It has a bunch of beautiful transition shades. You have your lighter shades, you have some mauve to brown shades, and then you go into the darker like grayish and black shades. You can use all of these as transition shades, just like the palette's name suggests. So you can start off, or you can use these to create a pretty subtle, gorgeous look. I can't say enough about how much I love this palette. I use it every single day. Every day. It starts off all of my looks, and sometimes it finishes my looks because I just use these shades to create something subtle and not too flashy, especially if I'm not working that day. I don't normally do a whole lot of makeup. I just try to do something so I don't look terribly scary when I leave the home. But I'm telling you guys, get out and buy this palette. You're gonna love it. You're absolutely gonna love it. That is my collection of palettes that I think are going to move on into the fall season very nicely. And I really highly recommend you buy every single one of them because I think they're all fabulous. And I really think that you'll like them too. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and remember to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, as well as the notification bell next to it to be notified of all of my upcoming videos. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.